Well, good afternoon. My name is Dominic Nana Kwamenansapra, bringing you live updates on the news on Good Afternoon Ghana on Metro Television. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines. Opinions divided over operations of national security agencies and the government's handling of the allegations made by Ranking Member of Defense and Interior Committee Reverend John Ntim. Meanwhile, former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia calls on Mahama to rein in the security operatives. And this is Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Dominic Nana Kwamenansapra. We take our first business story. Former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has called on President Mahama to rein in the national security operatives over their attempts to harass and intimidate political opponents. His comments follow the attempted arrest of Asin Central MP Reverend Ntim at his residence on Wednesday over claims that Ghana was being used as a transit destination for cocaine smuggling. Here is a statement from the former Vice President. Right, so last night, Dr. Bawumia on attempted arrest on Reverend Ntim last night following the attempted raid by some alleged officials of the National Investigation Bureau. I visited Honorable Reverend John Ntim, MP for Asin South and ranking member of Parliamentary Select Committee of Defense and Interior. Reverend Fojo was high spirits and unabdented. He urged all party faithful to remain calm, steadfast, and law-abiding in this period of unfortunate political persecution. I wish to reiterate my earlier submission to the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to immediately rein in his security operatives. State institutions must not be reduced to political tools used to harass and intimidate opponents. Ghanaians will not accept this descent into lawlessness and fear. Our democracy is hinged on due process and rule of law. And now we are joined on phone by Executive Director of Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, Dr. Rashid Draman, joins us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, so first of all, does the minorities argument based on privileges and immunities of MPs holding the handling of Reverend Ntim?
You know, that's a very gray area. If we go strictly by the Constitution and the constitutional provisions, a member of Parliament can be arrested when he or she is not on the way to or from Parliament or performing parliamentary duties. Parliament has gone beyond that by trying to establish some procedure and mechanism, and we saw that in display a few days ago when the Speaker wrote to the security agencies giving leave for two members of Parliament to be interviewed by the security agencies.
Right.
So that is what has been established, but that is kind of practice. But in law, and according to the Constitution, I think a member of Parliament can be arrested. I mean, that's what the law says, and I think we should all have an agreement over the law. But like I said, They have procedure that have been established, and so one would expect that those procedures will be followed. And perhaps maybe those procedures were not followed in this particular case. Hence, all the noise that and then the spectacle that we are seeing.
Right. So before you jump off, let us understand, how will this matter be handled by the speaker in this case, and does he have the final say in this matter?
Yeah, I believe the minority caucus has written to the speaker, so I believe whatever the speaker says, and I doubt if the speaker is going to do anything different from what he did in the case of honorable member for Gomwa and then the honorable former minister for sports.
Right.
I believe we are going to see maybe in the coming days, if indeed the security agencies have also requested Parliament for them to have access to this honorable member, we might see the Right Honorable Speaker do what he did in the case of the two other MPs.
Well, before you go again, during the press briefing with the Minister for Communication and Digital Technology and also Innovation, we met, the Chief Executive Officer of GIFEC, Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer. And upon that arrest, he also said that he deems fit for the Honorable to be arrested. What would you like to say about that?
That he says it is fit for him to be arrested?
Yes, he's supposed to be picked up long ago for making such statements. What would you like to say about that?
Perhaps that's a political statement. He's a member of Parliament. Parliament has established some procedures.
Right.
That was done for his colleague, the former minister for sports. So I don't see any deviation from that. I think they should let us respect whatever procedure that has been established.
Right. Thank you very much for joining us. We're speaking to Honorable Dr. Rashid Draman. Now we are moving on. The MPP Communications Director is also in the picture. Richard Ahiagba has condemned the attempted arrest of Asin South MP Reverend Intim Fojo as undemocratic, wrong and uncivilized. Speaking to Metro News, Ahiagba expressed disappointment in the actions of state security operatives.
This government must be put on notice that we, the people, will not tolerate this kinds of rough attempt to stifle our right to free speech. We will not tolerate it. A lot of people have suffered and have fought so hard for us to earn a day like this in our country, where we, the citizens, can hold government to account by questioning them, by raising concerns of things that we don't understand, things that we disagree with. That should not constitute a basis for this government to want to stifle people's free speech by sending gun-wielding people to go and arrest them in a manner that is undemocratic, in a manner that is tyrannical, in a manner that is dictatorial. We will not sit for it.
Right.
This democracy has come a long way, and our interest is to protect it and hand it to our posterity in a manner that is deepened, in a manner that will allow the citizen who is a sovereign to reign supreme. That and everything else, this whole business of issuing a statement to say that, Intim Fojo should cooperate with security people, who seeks cooperation by force? Who seeks cooperation by force? In a democracy, most especially. What is the force in wanting somebody to cooperate? They're sitting and are trying to sit on people's rights in this country. I don't know what the NDC is looking for. This is completely wrong. It's undemocratic. It's not what we expect from them.
Well, that's the take of the communications director of the MPP. But now let's go to what Ghanaians are saying on the streets regarding this same tangent.
I think that no one is immune when it comes to matters of the law and what has to be done right, when it comes to matters of equity and then fairness and then justice. However, if probably has been invited over and he did not honor, then they may also want to go and then maybe launch an arrest or something. But if something of that sort has not been done, then I think that probably is a breach of probably a person's privacy or something to go into, their home to attempt an arrest. I think first of all, the person should be invited, because the person has not run away. He made some case regarding something that has happened or an incident. So he should be invited. If Obey has been invited and he didn't come, then that's fine. But he hasn't been invited at all. And the first attempt or the first step to take is to go and then order an attempted arrest. Then I think that is not in order. That's my thoughts.
Finally, what do you think the member of parliament should do?
So yes, so he is making an allegation. He should come out with the evidence he has, the base upon which he's making those claims. If he has an evidence, why not? They'll take the matter up. But if he has no evidence and maybe he said that based on reactions and then emotions and all that, then the law must take its course.
I mean, you go to report somebody at the police station, okay, suspected of having done something. So the police issue an invitation, not an arrest, an invitation for the person to come and clear himself. If he refuses, that justifies your report. They have their own code of conduct, and they are supposed to go according to the code of conduct. It's part of protocol. If you don't do that, you violate your own protocol. That will be up to the law.
All right. Thank you very much.
You see, so like I said, no, the invasion or the kind of siege that they effected on his premises depended on the circumstances. If basically he was invited to come and he didn't come, that's a different issue. For all you know, he could have come and then proven himself. He could have come and explained the circumstances surrounding the whole saga.
Personally, I think that they should have followed the appropriate procedure. Since he's a sitting member of parliament, the law provides certain rules and regulations as to how to arrest a member of parliament. So they should have sought for a court warrant, and then also the speaker granting them to go ahead to do that. The fact that they went there without those evidence, I think that's what makes it inappropriate. However, with such an allegation against the government or without any evidence, it's also something that is not accepted in the society.
And now we are joined via Zoom by security consultant Richard Kumado, who used to work with the Bureau of National Investigations, now the National Intelligence Bureau. He also joins us now for discussion into the saga. You're live. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. You made me laugh this afternoon. That's
right.
Okay. Let's go.
Right. So, per your experience, talk to us. Is this how the security operatives should handle the matter involving the MP or an MP?
When you spoke to the Dramani, the man who we call the Professor of Parliament,
right? He
said the Speaker of Parliament has some protocol practice, and he spoke about law, and he just told you that there's no law that shields MPs from being arrested. And he said what the Speaker did was a convenience standard protocol. He has the police. Now, what that standard protocol did not say that when an MP has been charged or an MP is to be arrested, whether it should be arrested in Parliament or there's a cell in Parliament where you arrest MPs and put them there. We are confusing so many things and we are boxing them up. And I think that is an element of politics. Because if you take it from the arena of politics where the common sense doesn't work and you bring it to the professional stage, which says that in a democracy, rule of law is key and nobody is above the law. And there has to be accountability and responsibility, knowing very well that there are privacy rules and there are human rights rules, and those who feel their rights have been abused can seek redress in court. And you must also allow the state to do her work, which means that crime prevention, crime prosecution, and crime investigation, which includes arrest and questioning and interviewing people who have come to investigation arena or have come to national security interests. Then you can clearly understand that what is happening is pure NDC MPP politics and that's nothing to do with standard procedure. Secondly, it is not all cases that you have to write to the speaker that you are looking for an MP.
Right.
Thirdly, all cases are different, exigencies are different, and the way you handle them are different. So there are sanctioning regimes for all security operations and how they should be conducted, and they are held accountable at a very high standard. What happened in the house of the informant whistleblower MP This is a national security operation that involves all security agencies, and you have the BNI involved. But to put it out there that the BNI made an attempted arrest on him,
that's right.
That is out of gear. The reason I'm telling you so is that there are three things the BNI will do, and they have done it almost all the time. Once you have come under investigation notice or a matter they want to question you about, they will serve notice, one. Number two, they will invite you. Serving notice and inviting you can be done in person, or they can be done using any other means appropriate. If arrest becomes a subject on the table and it has become an option for the BNI, they will definitely go there with an arrest warrant. And once they get there and you have to be arrested, unless something dramatic happens or unless Jesus Christ comes down, there's no way you will escape that arrest. I think we need to calm down. We need to let the systems work by itself. Unless we want to play politics with almost everything in this country, you are not going to get a state to work for you.
Right.
And I can tell you guys, all those who are skimming those headlines and they want to instigate people against the BNI or the NIB, that is the only institution you people have in this country that works about partisanship. If you guys destroy that institution, your democracy will be challenged. Because do you know why? Politics itself can be classified as a threat to democracy. And political actors and their actions can destabilize the state. And the democracy you are trying so hard to protect can lead to a jeopardy. And that's the danger we have. And we need to tread cautiously in a fine line that brings reasonability and holding people accountable for their actions as a group or as individuals.
Well, before you go, on Wednesday, one person was confirmed dead and several others were injured following violent clashes between a youth group and law enforcement officers in Bawku. The violent incident also resulted in the burning of the police barracks and private residence of 3 police officers, including that of Bawku Divisional Police Commander. Law enforcement agencies, including the police and military, have since managed to bring the situation under control. Although tensions are in the town, remain on high. Speak to us on your tangent. We have been talking about this situation in Bawku for too long. There is a new government in place. What should be done differently aside of what has been done earlier on?
Number one, review the operational methodologies we have used in Bawku for all these years. Number two, change the approach in managing the public safety challenges we face in Bawku. And number three, many of the officers on the ground have been there for so long, fatigue are setting, and the personal motivation to do the job could be dwindling. And number four, there could be a logistic challenge and a communication gap between what happens on the ground and what head office is talking about. President Mahama, having set up all the security agencies and their heads, and having the boards and the patrons being set up, they will need to have a concrete discussion and look at the critical issues involved in Bawku critically. Then the last one, all those who have been assigned with the responsibility of dealing with the tradition, the chieftaincy, and many of the things that are the core fueling undertones of this particular conflict. I know slowness is what they do best, but as long as they remain slow and they work at the pace they are going, some of these crashes are inevitable and it will continue to create lives, whether on the part of the police or on the part of the civilian.
Fair enough. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, that is Richard Kumado, who is a security consultant. Now, moving on to do some other stories. The Greater Accra Regional Security Council is demolishing structures illegally built on the Waja and Dansuman Ramsar sites. This operation follows President John Mahama's recent tour on Ramsar sites in flood-prone areas in Accra, where he issued a stern warning that structures on protected lands and waterways would be removed. My colleague Shadrach Odami Ajari has joined me live for some updates. Shadrach.
Site and places very well known for flooding. This was on the back of he forming the flood task force led by the Deputy Chief of Staff Stan Dodbe. Now, in his visit, one of the main places they visited was the Waja Ramsar site, where most people have encroached or filled their Ramsar site to construct whatever edifices they deem fit. And one of these people was the Kitech Motors.
So as you can already see, I don't know if your cameras can zoom in.
Yes,
so you can see that we are doing a lot of dredging on the other side. If you pull up your camera, you can see that up there. And so we are working our way towards here. We need tipper trucks. We need some equipment that we'll put together and also come down here and clear all the material. So we are not reluctant to comply with the President's directive. We are still working on it, and then I believe that on their next visit they would see a significant change.
How long do you need? How much time do you need?
As you are aware, the rains are already coming, and so we will do the work with the necessary speed.
When was the conversation had? The conversation for you to get all of this clear. When did it happen?
Right. So we received a letter, I think 2 days ago, from the Assembly that we should go ahead with the President's directives. So once we received the letter, we started complying. So it's not like we are not taking the matter seriously. And again, I would say that we are looking at the work needs to start from the other end and work its way all the way down. And they've requested that. I mean, I am just being told that we need some more machines to do the job. So we will liaise with the Assembly, and then they can also help with the scope of the equipment that we need to ensure that this work is carried out and is carried out safely.
In the first place, how did you come by this place?
It's just one, and from what they are saying, we need about 4 to do that. Does it mean you just decided to use one, or you are also having plans to get extra ones? Because what we are seeing here doesn't look like it was one machine that was used in doing it. So why do we see one machine trying to fix the problem?
Okay, so the problem is not just here alone. As you can see, I don't know if you are able to go to the other extreme end. So we need to start, because if we bring all the excavators here and the other end does not flow, then it will become a problem.
Kitech Motors were subsequently asked to get every failing they have put into the Ramsar site or on the waterway, get those failings off. Today, the Regional Coordinating Council and the Regional Security Council, led by the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu, decided to hit to the President's directive of demolishing every infrastructure or every edifice on waterways. The first port of call was the Wager Ramsar site, where Kitech Motors have built a lot of infrastructure in and around the Wager Ramsar site.
As measures put in place, at least to minimize flooding within the Greater Accra district. We came here and His Excellency told them that they should do two things. They should scoop off all the materials that they used to fill this place, and they also dredge the place at their own cost. We sent letters to them only for us today to come here and see what we are seeing. So we'll go back, remobilize, and come back with our own machines to do whatever we want to do.
But doesn't it look like they have it quite intentional? Because when these people were filling this site, you never asked anyone to. So why should it be so much of work for them to get it off? Besides, this place doesn't look like it was done with one machine. So why then are we seeing one machine saying it is starting to get the materials off? Can't we fast track this process?
Yeah, in fact, we are here and we all saw what is happening. So what I have to do, like you said, they have the machines. I mean, you can see from the yard. There are a lot of machines there. I mean, releasing the machines shouldn't be a problem for them. So it looks as if it's intentional. It's something that they intentionally did. And I don't know whoever is compromising with them. But for the assembly, the entire assembly, to overlook, I mean, sending them messages, they are aware that today the exercise is starting, only for us to come and meet what we just met. So, my dear, we'll go back and come back to do whatever we want to do.
Regional ministers also spoken to the Wager Municipal Assembly, executive of the Assembly, who have also given their remarks on all the developments in and around their constituency.
I handed over the letter to you, but I think the problem is that the machine there is only one.
But they are supposed to give us 3 machines, right?
No, even if 4.
4.
Even if 4 from this side, because we have additional 3 machines dredging the other part.
Yes.
But this particular point, the places are 3. So this particular point, the 1 machine is not enough. At least they should add some extra machines because they've started.
What we have to do is that we've noticed that Kitech is not ready for this exercise. So we have to arrange our own machines to come and do whatever we want to do here. The last time we came, per the directive of His Excellency the President, I mean, we thought even today when we come, all these materials will be off here, but they are still here. Are you getting me? So, engineer, please. I don't know what your assembly is doing, but please enforce the law.
I've also seen the regional minister quite angry over the development here and noted that the Regional Security Council is going to come back hard at this very site. But we keep talking about climate change, and these are one of the issues that are bedeviling our fight in climate change. Filling of Ramsar site, which is housing lots of animal species and then serving as water receptacles or reservoirs for the various locations. So now that this very Ramsar site, for example, serving as a water receptacle or a reservoir is being filled, where will our waters be running to each time the rains come down? Are we still going to sit and wait for the flood waters to fill our homes and then subsequently call on government to do something? We are still sitting on a time bomb. My name is Shadrach Odame Ejare. From here at
Right, so on our Tidy GA segment, Project Director of Fresh Pact, Dr. Ebenezer Lai, has called for improvement in efforts aimed at tackling plastic waste in Ghana. He said government must take lead in implementing a long-term policy to effectively manage plastic waste. He was speaking at the launch of the Fresh Pact policy report conducted by Fresh Pact and Zoom Lion Foundation in Accra.
So the report we are launching today, by the good grace of God, is a report that sets out a blueprint for the establishment of a plastics alternatives and non-plastic substitutes industry in Ghana. So this is a great opportunity for Ghana to be at the forefront of one of the new frontiers in sustainability. We have a huge plastics problem in Ghana at the moment, and we need to find a way to transition from the use of conventional plastics, such as single-use plastic bags, to sustainable plastic alternatives and non-plastic substitutes. Well, for starters, we hope that the government of Ghana will implement this report because it's been prepared for the government of Ghana and for the people of Ghana. So the government has to do the implementation, and we are, of course, always ready to support in that implementation. The policy blueprint is very, very well laid out. It has 6 pillars. Each pillar has a corresponding set of policy goals and also policy actions, which are very, very clearly set out. So that's the government's work. For everybody watching at home, as individual citizens, it is the responsibility of us all to support the government when it comes to the implementation, and to also get ourselves ready for the attitudinal changes that need to be undertaken. If you go out tomorrow and you buy you buy some wache, or you buy something from the market, you can say, look, I'm not opting for a plastic bag, I'm going to put in something else. When we were growing up, our parents used to give us actual woven bags to put things that we bought in. Now we use plastic bags all the time, and that has to change, because if it doesn't, you're going to have a whole generation of Ghanaian citizens who are born into this country and grow up and will have a huge problem with plastics over the next 25 years. So we want to solve this problem.
Well, that's it for the news update on Good Afternoon Ghana. We'll return shortly after this break.
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, We bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
Ama, nansi mi jeno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basima kura. Ama me kunu ni me into kwankwa. Oh you right. Enye mo ko. Give us GC mixture and any capsules. Aye num boom. En wasam na mo kana. E bua emma ene meme nyina. Na ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye bemesima. Ya, we be Bawku. I'm an giant sour the shell butu. No when you yan and into sesame or you chop one.
Give us heaven. Give us heaven. Give us heaven. Give us GC mixture and a capsule. Ashesa.
I pay for a batch and one more menu for one and Kwada when if you do me.
Young fire pomodini agubi. Ghana Funiaji. If you say, ya your local spices, na ya Friday, ya sanko for natural spice.
Me de gumi jalo fumu. Me still a huduma. Emanate dance.
Stanley, the barbecue the go on.
Sanko for natural spices. And one you use 100% natural.
Adofo, mamu ye huge mistake. Sanko for natural spices. Didi.
FDIG ejodi nkratu yatu.
Well, you're welcome back from that break. This is Good Afternoon, of course, the Business Edge on Good Afternoon Ghana. And we have a lot to discuss this afternoon. It's an area that people do not practically consider, especially in our part of the world here in Africa, maybe precisely Ghana, what we don't particularly look at. But we get affected by it the most. And when you get to maybe the Western and Eastern world, they take particular interest in climate change and what exactly is happening within every other sector that has something to do with climate change. This afternoon, we'll be focusing particularly on this area and what we as a country, we as a continent, we as West Africa, and the major sector players can come together and be able to do with it. And so this afternoon, I'm going to have a very special discussion on that, and I'll do a quick intro to you on that. But when we are done with this discussion, we'll be looking at the Honorable Minister of Communications press conference yesterday, and he made a lot of revelations and a lot of talk about the telecommunication industry, what's going to happen. And remember, he put out a release that if you want to be part of the government's 1 million coders agenda, you are allowed to apply. In the course of the program this afternoon, we'll put that flyer on air so that everybody that's interested, for us on Business Edge, on Bottom Line, on Business Edition, and whatever we do here, which has something to do with business, our utmost concern is with employment of young people here in Ghana. We are helping mitigate the threat to the national security, as has been stated by every stakeholder of employment or unemployment. And so my producer puts it this way. She says that in today's unprecedented climate change, one very crucial phenomenon is, or which is mostly overlooked, is the need to promote sustainable and efficient building practices. So be it high-rise corporate buildings or modern glass homes of modern concern, is the art and science of providing ventilation, air conditioning, and in cold parts of the world, maybe heating systems. So if you visit Ontario, Vancouver in Canada, if you visit New York in the US, and the cold parts of the world, what they are concentrated on when they are putting up their buildings, when they are putting up their structures, is how to heat up their systems. But when we come to Africa, ours is air conditioned, how to get the room very cold or at least cool to be able to sleep. When our lights go off, what's the concern? What do we do about it? I have very distinguished guests here in the studio this afternoon, and I'm going to be talking to them about some of these concerns and what we do as a country. I will start from my extreme left, and I have Engineer Joseph Aingua, Building Services Engineer and Managing Director for Rohi Engineer and ASHRAE. I'll be asking them what the ASHRAE exactly stands for, ASHRAE Ghana. Engineer, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're doing well. And then I have Engineer Nana K. Ohinedu, who is a mechanical engineer, Managing Director, Ecotech Mate Limited, also a board member of the governing board of the ASHRAE Ghana branch. Nana, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing well as well.
I'm doing very well, thank you.
And then Engineer K. Owusu Amwa, who is a MD Oxen. I will be asking him what Oxen stands for, of course, also a member of ASHRAE. Engineer K. Owusu Amwa. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having us.
We are happy to have you. Let me state that today will be a learning curve because I have well-seasoned engineers, and we'll be asking them the questions to teach us what exactly they know. They are experts in their field, so we'll play the role of question askings only. But let me begin with you, Engineer Kewosu. Yours is Oxen. Oxen is a company here in Ghana?
Yes.
What exactly do you do?
We are into engineering services.
Mm-hmm. Mechanical engineering, or
yes,
what exactly?
Mechanical, electrical, plumbing, firefighting services. So we deal with air conditioning, both low-rise and high-rise buildings, hospital environment, pharmaceutical factories, other main industrial facilities, as well as in the schools and in homes.
So when, for example, St. George's Junior High School or maybe Prempeh College is putting up a structure, you're saying they should come to you for you to give them how the ventilation, the air conditioning and everything should be?
Yes, the importance of all that is that we want the well-being of individuals in every environmental space. So to get the well-being and to get the concentration of students to learn very well, we have what we call good indoor air quality. That indoor air quality stems from the design that you do to support the building. So within our sector, and by virtue through ASHRAE, what we have is what we like to call, we provide the life into buildings. So when an architect designs a space and a contractor builds it, we have to design the features that will allow the building to be usable. And then in so doing, if the students or the owners of the development come to us, we do the design for the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and firefighting services to support the usage of that building.
Let me come to you also, Nana, and you are MD for EcoTechMate. EcoTechMate, what exactly do you do?
EcoTechMate is, I can say, a mechanical engineering firm. We are deeply involved in the HVAC, that is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. In fact, in Ghana, we talk about ventilation and air conditioning. So we are both engineers and contractors when necessary. So that's how we operate. So we can design, and we can install, and we can do all the after installation services. So that's what we stand for.
So is it the design of the air conditioning services, the heating services, or the entire structure, so that if you have a client who wants to put up a structure, they can just walk up to you, and then you start from scratch and include where your core competencies are?
When you start from the structure, you mean the design of the structure?
The design of the building?
No, we don't do the design of the building. Normally, we inherit the design from the architects. But then we infuse the air conditioning, so to speak, to create the environment that is needed. So we don't design the building, but we adapt a design of air conditioning that will make the required environment, indoor environment, conducive.
Okay. Joseph Ayingwa, you are Managing Director, Rohi Engineering, of course, ASHRAE Ghana as well. First of all, Rohi, what do you do also?
We are building services engineers. That's we are into electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and fire engineering services. We are basically consultants. So we work with architects. When they finish with their design, they come to us for us to do the building services designs for them. And that includes the air conditioning, the plumbing, fire alarm system, data.
Okay. And all of the other things. But I have a question to ask. However, let me ask what ASHRAE is. And I'll begin that from you. When we hear ASHRAE, what exactly does it stand for, and what are we looking at?
Well, ASHRAE is basically American Society of Heating, Refrigeration.
Please get closer to your mic for me. People want to be able to hear you.
Okay. ASHRAE is basically American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning Engineers. And it's actually started in America. But with time, it has grown, and it's in almost every country. So because of that, the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, and Air Conditioning has been shortened to be made ASHRAE. So it is not like an American kind of thing. It's now global. So basically, that's what ASHRAE means.
So it doesn't belong to America again?
Not necessarily.
It belongs to the entire world?
Yes.
And what exactly do you do? Is it the same things that all of you are into, or all of you have come together to be able to make sure that what happens in this industry is perfect or it's excellent as you require?
Well, so what ASHRAE does is ASHRAE provide guidelines and codes in order to help us in doing our designs. And for best practices, it's always good to make sure that these codes are really adhered to. So that's what ASHRAE seeks to do. And ASHRAE also educates us, bring us a lot of information. In fact, they take data from every country to make sure they come up with the guidelines that we need to use in our practice.
But Nana, let me come to you. Why is ASHRAE important in today's world? Why should we be concerned with the activities of ASHRAE?
Well, ASHRAE is positioned in the industry to provide guidelines, to generate the necessary standards by which we operate, and then generate the codes also to guide us. For instance, if the example you gave as to there's a school to be built, ASHRAE will tell you that this is an educational facility, this is the kind of population they expect, and for that population, this is the amount of outdoor air you should introduce into the building, this is the amount of filtration you should introduce into the building, this is the kind of velocity of air, the movement of air you need to make the students study properly. And of course, it comes with cooling when the need arises. But in our field, we should be able to provide sufficient ventilation even in the absence of cooling. That will make the occupants comfortable.
Well, okay, I have one concern. It looks to me like you should be part of the design of whatever structure it is because of what you do. Because if you look at Metro TV here and our structure that we are in now, you form an integral part, I mean, so to speak, ASHRAE, that if the building is constructed, how air conditioning will be done. I keep asking them to put the AC on for me all the time because I sweat a lot. And so whenever I come in, I ask them, which means that right from the onset, you should be part. ASHRAE should be part. I don't know how the regulations are in Ghana, but I will come to all of that. Are you part of designs by maybe architects, so to speak?
Yes.
From the scratch?
Yes. So building services engineers are an integral part, and they work collaboratively with architects and then also project managers as well as cost developers. So that once the building is being put up, the design has already been done. At the design stage, the input of the building services engineers is to advise how efficiently the air conditioning or the services that are going to make the building usable can be operated.
But do they do it? Do they come to you?
Yes.
The designers, the architects?
Yes.
Do they come to you?
Yeah, they do come to us. They do come to us. So there's...
Do they come to you all the time?
Yes, they do. But the issue is that architects want to do things the right way. But I think most of our clients need a lot of education. They hear of the initial costs, then they think, no, let me just go and buy some air conditioning and come and fix it in my room. And that's where we normally start having problems.
Okay, so I'll come to all of that. The cost, who is able to join you, the size of, because we see a lot of us, let me put myself in place, putting up maybe a 3 to 4 bedroom, and then we'll go and buy our own air conditioner, and we'll say that this room we need an air conditioner, this room we don't need an air conditioner, and maybe the cost of power that we'll buy to include. But how is ASHRAE relevant here in Ghana today? I mean, I'll come to how people are able to join. So yes.
Yes, so this brings us to the crucial purpose why we are trying to outline the need for ASHRAE's existence and usage in Ghana. As my colleagues have already said, ASHRAE promotes sustainable technology within our built environment. And it also has a rich vein of guidelines and standards by which it will help us to promote energy efficiency, climate change, and improve indoor air quality. So with reference to your statement about you going to buy something to build, now, because you have maybe the funds, you've gone to buy an AC with the idea that it should work.
Yes.
But because there's been no design basis behind it, what you end up is you're going to run more energy. The AC you bought, it has an energy rating. So we, the services engineers, can advise you on the correct size of AC for a particular room or a particular environment. And that its adjoining power consumption will be suitable for your environment. Now, you may end up going to buy a higher rated machine, which will consume a lot of energy. but it doesn't serve your needs. And then again, you may say, I want to buy this one, this is what my budget. But that one, maybe that unit, it's more energy consuming than what the professional would have recommended for you.
But do you have regulations for these?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so ASHRAE, and you, the industry players, you have regulations on how things should be done generally. That's a bit of, I'm diverting a bit, but I'll come back to my line.
Yes, we do. And that's what ASHRAE tries to do.
Okay.
ASHRAE provides us with the guidelines that we are supposed to design to. For example, you are designing an office. Is it a smoking office or a non-smoking office? ASHRAE will tell you the ventilation rates that needs to be provided over there. And we know now we are now all talking about climate change, global warming, and we play a very, very critical role because energy is proportional to the carbon dioxide, so we are looking at our carbon footprint. And buildings all over the world consume about the 50% of energy that is being produced. And air conditioners are the biggest loads in our buildings. So
who checks whether I use what is required or what is not required, or I go out of my way and do anything I want, and tomorrow there is fire? And I'll be asking whether you collaborate with the Ghana Fire Service and all of those people. Who does the checking?
Well, the checking normally before you build your your building campsite, you are normally given a permit. And during the permit process, they need to check that if you have all the
from EPA.
Yes, country planning.
Do they come to you? Does EPA come to you? Because you are the experts, Nana.
Well, they would come. They have a format or guideline for certifying a building for occupation. So when they come, they'll go through all that. Now, but before you get there, we have the energy ratings done by Energy Commission. And it says that all unitary equipment, air conditioning equipment coming, should bear a sticker.
Yes.
That tells you exactly how efficient your machine is. So it starts from there. Now, if you get a competent HVAC person to assess your need, he will tell you exactly what you need. Because no two rooms are the same, especially when you come to the building elements, like the amount of glass, amount of roof exposure and all that. No two rooms are the same. So you assess them, and then you give the advice as to what size they should buy. Now, secondly, you need also to advise the end user what you designed for, because I've been to a lot of places where the temperature has been set as 18 degrees Celsius. 18 degrees Celsius is a very, very, very cold temperature. Now, we design normally for comfort around 24, 25 degrees. So if somebody has to set at 18, you want to ask the person, why have you set it at 18? He says the thing is not cooling. So he has to force it down to 18.
Yes, we want to feel the temperature.
And if it were properly sized and you kept it at 24, you probably will even enjoy it more than when it's down to 18.
Exactly.
So it's important that we design and let the client know what we have designed for. I have known of thermostat wars throughout my life. Every time you go to an office and there are two people, one is saying it's too cold, the other is saying it's too warm.
I agree.
And there's always a thermostat, the thermostat battle. So we need to educate. For instance, so for formality, you have to be in a jacket. But maybe without a jacket, you could set the temperature higher and you'll still be comfortable.
Exactly.
But now you are having to.
I agree.
You're having to put on this. I look at the police officers in some countries. During the winter, they wear long sleeves.
Yes.
During the summer, it's short sleeves. But Ghana, we
always.
wear the same always.
We
demand air conditioning. The man wants 22 degrees where he's sitting because he wants to put on his three-piece jacket. That is the problem. So we have to involve.
And knocked up like I am sitting.
Exactly. So you have to involve and we have to advise at all levels, not just what is the size of equipment, but how to use it. And even your basic air conditioner in the house, it has so many features. If you use them, you'll be saving a lot of energy.
So I'm concerned about the energy saving, energy efficiency the climate change, maybe we'll come to importation and installation. And I'm happy the things you are telling me, and now it's bringing my mind to compliance. The need for you to be able to force us, the users, to comply, and those who are contracting, maybe the installers and I don't want to use the word engineers, the people who install for us to be able to use. Are we able to get to a point where you would have a standard, maybe through ASHRAE, for us to come to you before we are able to install? If we don't have your permit, if we don't have your approval, if you don't have an advice of us, Nana is explaining, maybe this room size, you have to install this, and there is a written permit, so that if tomorrow there is fire outbreak, and that's why I asked whether, so let me come to you, Kay, on that, and then I'll come to you on the same point.
Okay, so in terms of the regulation side, there are regulatory bodies within Ghana that are to enforce this. But as to its full-scale enforcement, that's a different matter that we need to. But because Ghana, we have signed up onto international best practices, we have to start educating people, increase the knowledge awareness about the need for these good practices. So I'll take another case of refrigerants. Now, all these air conditioning units that we use in our homes, they have refrigerants in them. And they contribute to this ozone layer depletion, which is the climate change effects that we come across. And it's not only this air conditioning in our homes that these refrigerants are in. In the cold stalls, in the cold rooms, in the fishing industry, in all the cooling processes. If you look at how ice creams or chilled foods are distributed, they are all using air conditioning or refrigeration systems, which also uses this refrigerant. Now, our advocacy is that because we have the best practices, the good guidelines from ASHRAE, we should be able to enhance and apply those good practices for the welfare of our Ghanaians, so that those who are in the refrigeration business, they'll be able to use environmentally friendly refrigerant gases in their refrigeration system. In the air conditioning system also, we should be able to use good refrigerant systems so that we do not create a hazard for our welfare and our unborn society. So it's about compliance and then also ensuring that we have good environmental impact within our society.
That's the goal of ASHRAE, the global mission of ASHRAE. So first of all, I have written here energy efficiency, climate change, and then compliance. Is that the case? Your global mission?
Yeah.
And then also just to add in good indoor air quality.
Good indoor air quality. Let me write that also.
Just to expand on the good indoor air quality, we have a lot of bankers and then also those within the trading sector of the stock exchange. People are doing trading. Now, if the room or the environment in which they are working is not conducive, they can have migraines, they can have hot and cold flashes.
Where there are open offices and everything.
Yes, and
when we close, kindly indulge me, I will take you to the newsroom. We have an open office where we have everybody. I mean, original TV, original FM, Metro TV, all of us are in there, running around, getting our stories, typing our stories in. You'll go and maybe do an assessment for us at no cost, though.
We'll be happy to help and then give you our recommendations. Because it's imperative that we all, once we are within a space, we can have good air movement, we can have the good temperature, as Nana was saying, so that everybody leaves that area well preserved, and then that can also help our well-being. Most of the time, because of poor ventilation rates within enclosed spaces like a meeting room, you see people dozing off because the carbon dioxide concentration has gone up, but there isn't enough outside there to come and replenish. So those are some of the things that we want to help with our designs, and then let the regulatory bodies also understand the need for all of these things.
But do they know of your existence, the regulatory bodies? Do they know that you have an association called the American Society of Heating air conditioning and refrigeration?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Most air conditioning designs normally either use the ASHRAE standards or the CIPSI standards. The CIPSI guidelines is the UK one. And the ASHRAE one is more of the American one.
Okay.
So every air conditioning or refrigeration engineer actually uses this guidelines to do their designs. So the regulatory bodies do know.
But how many members do you have? And are you across the country here in Ghana?
We are just being inaugurated.
Okay.
We used to be under Nigeria, so we are a session. But we are now come of age, so we are now a chapter now. So we are now being inaugurated. So we are about 66
members already.
Yes.
And you were under Nigeria before, operating from Nigeria?
Yeah, operating under Nigeria.
Operating under Nigeria?
Yes.
And you decided to have your own independence?
Yes, because we needed to be a chapter because we believe we are a big country and we have more engineers here. And there's a certain number we need to get before you become a chapter. So we just have to put ourselves together to become a chapter, and we have been able to do that.
That means you have your specific goals, your specific mandate that you are giving yourselves, even specific targets that you are giving yourselves. Once you are, dissociating yourself from Nigeria to stand on your own as a full chapter. And what does this mean for you? Let me briefly, and then I'll come to you on that, Nana.
Okay, it means a lot to us because when you become a chapter, there are standards that ASHRAE itself set for us to be able to sustain yourself. One is our NAMES. You need to make sure that you have a certain minimum of NAMES.
Okay.
And it's one of our goals to make sure that we increase our NAMES, educate. And ASHRAE is also not just only for engineers. Architects, quantity surveyor, accountants, anybody at all can join.
Okay.
Because whatever we do affects
the
everyone.
structural integrity.
Yes. So your experience, when you tell us, it will help us do a better design. So ASHRAE is not just only for engineers, it's for everyone. So one of our goals is to make sure that, then also to make sure that we have sustainable solutions for the systems that we designed for.
And let me come to you now on the same question. What does this mean for us as a country, and where are you moving towards?
It's exciting times in that now we can prepare standards and codes. I think we are even working on that already. We have the Ghana Building Code.
Okay.
In there is a portion for what we do. So we are looking at it, drawing the resources from ASHRAE, because ASHRAE have done cogent research. Everything in there, everything in their standards or codes can be backed by research.
Okay.
And these are top researchers. So we can draw from that, draw from the Ghana Building Code, and formulate what we can achieve. There's no point in setting standards that are not achievable. I always tell my engineers, don't specify anything you cannot measure. So if you're going to hold somebody to anything, then it will be measurable. If you are saying the person should perform a certain function or a certain duty in a certain way, you must be able to assess, you must be able to measure and make sure that it complies. So being on our own gives us the opportunity to sort of refine these things. For instance, weather data. We rely on somebody else to tell us how warm and during what periods we have bad weather. Shouldn't we in Ghana be in collusion with our Met department to try and substantiate that data? So these are the kind of freedoms it gives us. Then also, we want to target those who are yet to come out of the secondary schools, targeting, so that we can guide them into this industry. When I first finished school, my grandmother heard I was working on air conditioning. Said, "Oh, is that all?" I mean, they see these corner shops with.
I'm sure she must have been disappointed.
Very disappointed. So we need to bring people up to scratch. In fact, in connection with this inauguration, I think there is a apprenticeship scheme that we are launching.
Oh, wow.
In that anybody who has finished the GSS level can be groomed to perform some of the simple tasks that are required to put even a split unit in place. And this will be done according to proper practices. And this will, in a long way, enhance the way we do things. I don't think any of those guys, when they are trained, would go and pipe up an installation, a split unit, indoor, outdoor, connect, and just top it up with gas. He will know that he has to evacuate, he has to pressure test, you know, so they will be taken through proper procedures. And with that, then we can fan out into the other parts of the country and take the same experience.
I'm happy about the fact that you talk about research and the fact that we have the African system. Of course, European, American would be slightly different. But you are coming out of ASHRAE Global, and then there is ASHRAE Nigeria, and now you have ASHRAE Ghana. So Nana, from there I would come to Kay on the same question. Now that we are Ghana and you're talking about research, everything is backed by empirical knowledge and experience and expertise. Are we sure we are not going to follow exactly? And we have experiences of that where when even in the legal sections we are coming out of something from the UK, we just carry everything en bloc and come and dump on Ghanaians or Africans in other sectors. But in your area, are you going to specifically assess our problems as a country in the construction sector and then resolve those problems due to the problems we have? Or how is it going to be like?
Yeah, we're going to tailor any modifications that we make to the ASHRAE codes and standards. We might not deviate much because, as previously said, they have researched properly, and their research only didn't come from data collected in the temperate zones, but from all over the world. In fact, they have charts that show the data collected and everything. What we are saying is that they may recommend certain things, which in our opinion, or from our experience, they differ from what they want. For instance, how cold should the room be? All right? And they will tell you, well, for officers, maybe 22 degrees. Here, we think we can get away with 24 and save more energy. These are the kind of things that we have to refine to suit us. And then, of course, even before you decide how big, you decide the capacity of an air conditioner, it starts from the building. So there are building materials. I remember way back, I won't tell you how many years back, but Building and Road Research Institute, when I was doing my final year project work, I had to go there.
CSIR?
Yes. And this was based in Kumasi under the trees, I remember.
Yes, yes.
And I had to go and, chat with them. So this block, 6-inch block, what is the heat transfer property and all that. So we have all that data there, but we are not using it. We are relying on what is in the book saying three-hole block, 6 inches. The heat transfer is so much. We have not done the analysis ourselves. So this could go to a lab, or this could go to Ghana Standards Authority, whatever. We need to be able to assess these things for ourselves. And maybe by adding something, maybe the quarry sand that we have here is superior in heat transfer quality. Then we can adjust that so that we end up with more accurate estimation of the kind of heat that flows into a building.
So Nana has said it that exactly the way, but you may want to add something. It is not a pick and dump from the ASHRAE Global, but maybe specific targeting for Ghana. And I like the CSIR example he gives. I've gone to the BRI. I've seen the breaks. I've seen how they try to make sure that we embrace climate change. We use bricks to do our buildings and so on and so forth. But I'm sure with your experience, we may still have to come back. But let me come to you, Kay, on that.
Yeah, I think it's on the same basis as you are referring to the use of bricks. Now, because of the notion that every one of us, we have the desire to be able to use sustainable materials in our construction. Now, the original information that was there will help you use a figure that may not be applicable, because those times you'll be using maybe concrete and then some other material. But now, if we are using more sustainable materials like bricks, and the mud, it then necessitates that the value that we are using may lead us to have overcooling within those spaces. But if we are able to do the analysis very well, we'll realize that, oh, we don't need to provide so much cooling, and therefore we can then save energy and save the environment and then the climate as a whole. Because the whole concept is to ensure that wherever living spaces that human beings are occupying, the environment is conducive. We are not creating unnecessary undue pressure on the environment, but rather people are having good quality of life. So it's good that we continue with this research and then also impact the knowledge to the youth and then the younger ones.
Yes, Nana speaks about and I'm interested in that, the apprenticeship.
So ASHRAE has this great mission that because it's an inclusive society, our idea is to have the well-being of everybody. So we are reaching out to the universities, to the secondary schools, doing apprentice schemes, doing training whilst people are even off school, just to introduce them into the concept of having energy efficiency in whatever they do, and then also teaching them the basics within the air conditioning and refrigeration industries. So it's a core mandate that ASHRAE Ghana
How many people are you looking at to train? Maybe this year or?
We have a budget to reach out to all the universities that are in Ghana now, and then from there we'll be focusing on to some of the secondary schools.
Okay.
And then the whole concept is to ensure that we can have various competitions to allow the students come up with innovative ideas about being sustainable and using sustainable means to provide a comfortable environment within our homes and in our offices.
I think it's a very good idea. I don't know whether you have partnership with government, but you can add
for the apprenticeship.
Yes, yes.
We're looking at 30 people to start with, and most likely we'll be starting it this year. We're looking at those who have finished GHS or SHS that they don't have job, they are unable to continue their education, they don't have anything doing. So that we're trying to get like 30, but there's a criteria we'll use to select and train them. So at least we'll be starting with 30.
But it's still good because we are talking about unemployment all the time. And that's the way to go, the artisanal sector, even without the schooling yet, without the expertise yet, without the experience yet, to begin to train them in this line so that even if they get into the university, there is a professional job you are getting into. And I'm happy about that.
Yes, so since we are about starting, we have the intention of talking to TVETs because they are in the vocational.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to talk to them because we can't do it alone.
No, not at all.
We need government to support us.
Right.
So we are actually working on it to make sure that we get so that if we can expand it and get more people trained.
But you mentioned inauguration of your chapter, which means you have come to stay. And so people in the industry should be joining. Maybe when we have time, some other time, we'll be talking about the cost of your projects and who can afford and all of that. I mean, looking at the structure of our economy and who is building and all of that. Maybe, are you looking, let me ask that, Nana. Are you looking at the high-end buildings alone, or what exactly are you targeting?
We are looking from a single-room kiosk where merchandise
so
is sold.
So everybody can come to you?
Yes. But like people do when they want to build, they're afraid to go to architects because they think the fees will be too high. And the same thing that they look at engineers when they have to seek advice. Somebody would rather risk and build and let the building collapse rather than going to the structural engineer. And most of the time they are reasonable. They might pay a token fee to make sure that they protect human lives and everything. So in our case, anybody who seeks advice, we are ready to give.
At a low cost.
Or I would say pro bono.
Pro bono. That's very enough.
And because it's the little things that when you do and you impress people, that they go on to recommend you for the bigger ones.
Right.
And the bigger projects they are expensive. They are in a different world of their own. And the Accra skyline is changing. I mean, there's so many high-rise buildings.
Exactly.
I was looking at some pictures I took 6 2016, there weren't so many buildings, so many high-rise buildings. But now it's all over the place. And it's important that because they are energy guzzlers, we try and get involved and make them energy efficient and very comfortable for occupation.
Right. So, but let me ask you about the inauguration. I was asking that you've come to stay, and so you are going to inaugurate the ASHRAE, American Society of Heating, Refrigeration and Air Conditioning, Ghana chapter. When is this? Next week, I'm told it's next week. When exactly is it?
Next week, 15th of April, and it's happening at Labadi Beach.
15th of April.
Yeah, which is
and who is
Tuesday.
coming? Who is allowed to come?
We have those coming. We have the society president coming all the way from America.
Okay.
And we also, Ghana belongs to the Region at Large group. And the president of the Region at Large group is also coming.
Okay.
Engineers are invited.
All engineers in Ghana
are invited. Architects are invited. Media men are invited. Everyone is actually invited.
And then the Minister of Energy is also coming.
Oh, the Minister of Energy is coming.
Yes.
Honorable Jinapo is coming.
Yes.
I think it's a very novel area that we should be able to promote and get everybody to join. So after Tuesday, maybe your final words. I'll pick 30 seconds of each of you. Now, let me start with you, Joe. After Tuesday, what should we be expecting as a country entirely? I mean, from ASHRAE.
From ASHRAE, what we expect that we expect all practitioners, that is consulting engineers, contractors, should actually make an effort to join us.
I was going to ask who can join and become a member of ASHRAE. You said you have 66 members 66, now. Yes. So who can join?
Who can join?
Yes.
Any engineer can join, being structural, mechanical, metallurgy, anybody at all can join. And like I said, architects can join. We have architects in our midst. Quantity surveyors can join. Anybody at all can join. You don't need any qualification to join, since whatever we do affects everyone, and everyone has an input to whatever we do.
Right. Now let me pick you, and then I'll pick Kay.
Yeah, so for the membership, we have different classes of membership.
Okay.
So there's a professional engineer, then you have the associate, then you have the students, and then I think one affiliate. So depending on where you stand, I mean what your background is, you find a slot. And once you are in there, you are encouraged to participate fully. In fact, one of the things that ASHRAE helps to teach is leadership. So you come in and you are given a position, you serve on committees, you are sent out to meet, talk to people, and it develops you. So it's not just the technical part, but then also the management and human relations. Also, you learn. So it's a win-win thing for anybody who is interested. And we have reached out to students. So as a student, you can even join. And by the time you come out, you can then move on to some other level. We have young engineers who can join when they don't have the prerequisite number of years of experience to qualify as full members. And there are paths for all these people to rise to the highest point.
Right, and then let me take from Kay finally. And then
yeah, so it's an exciting moment now to be able to outdoor the Ghana chapter of ASHRAE, and then we also extend our invitation to everyone involved, and then those seeking to come on Tuesday at the Labadi Beach Hotel. We'll have our keynote address. The Energy Minister will be there. The ASHRAE Society President in America and his entourage will also be there. So we invite everyone to be in attendance as we seek to improve sustainability, reduce energy, and then also make use of the building materials, and then have good indoor air quality for our citizenry in Ghana here.
But what time is it happening?
Starting at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock a.m.
in the morning. So on the 15th day of April, if you're watching us and you are an engineer or architect of any sort, you are invited to be at the Labadi Beach Hotel, 9 a.m. Join these fine gentlemen and experts in the architectural and engineering industry and be part of ASHRAE. We'll be there. We'll be there to meet the minister and have some interviews also. So, Nana, one sentence.
Before you go,
yes,
it has been quite a hectic time for us, trying to put resources together to put up this show. It's not easy to get the society president to travel
all the
to
way
your
from America
destination.
to come to Ghana.
I
The
mean,
accommodation, the flights.
it hasn't happened, and we are so grateful to him. And we are grateful to Metro for giving us this opportunity to air our events. We're very, very grateful. And we are also grateful to others who have, in diverse ways, contributed so far. We are saying that Akakakra, we need a little more to complete it. And we are sure that they'll be forthcoming to support us.
Right. Thank you very much. So, Engineer Joseph Ayungwa is a building services engineer, MD of Rohi Engineering, and of course, ASHRAE Ghana engineer. Nana K. Ohinedu is mechanical engineer, MD Eco Tech Mate Limited, and a member of the governing board of ASHRAE Ghana. Engineer K. Usu Amwa is MD Oxen. Oxen is in Ghana. Oxen, Ghana, right? So thank you very much, gentlemen. And on Tuesday, we'll make sure we are part of you, and of course, we'll cover it. Metro TV is maybe you'll make us your official partners, and then we'll get everything done in the meantime. So thank you very much for coming in. If you have been watching, we've been talking about the built environment and how we will be able to ensure sustainable, efficient energy, climate change, the air conditioning, refrigeration, and heating environment. How are we able to ensure something good within the sector? On the 15th of April, it is Labadi. Minister of Energy will be there. The global president of ASHRAE will be there. Let's all join them on Tuesday. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Business Edge is still on.
Ama, nansi mi cheno wo bin enko ye kwao. Ama ma ye bohu se kontomra akija.
Nansi me hu se me nyo basi makura. Ama me kunu me into kwankwa. Oh, you right. Any mo go. Give us GC mixture and any capsules. Ah, you num boom. And what some na mo kana. E bua emma ene meme nyina. Ne ma wo ba ye obesima. Na be ma so aye bemasima. Ya, we be Bawku. I'm an giant sour the shelly bottom. No, when you yan and into sessing you or you chop one.
Give us heba, give us heba, give us heba,
give us GC mixture and a capsule. Ashesa.
A pin for a batter, one more menu for one and Kwada when you feel to me.
Hi, friend. Where are we going today?
Just use your imagination.
Go, go, go! My family is the only thing that matters to me right now.
This is the stuff that Monique dreamed about.
These guys are the best. GoTV's ready to take you from your hometown to roaring stadiums and even on international adventures. So let's go together, from home or on the go with GoTV Stream.
Sounds like a great idea.
Woohoo! GoTV. Love it.
Attention all farmers. Are you ready to take your crops to the next level? Introducing 3 effective organic composts that will revolutionize your farming practices. ACAP, KCAP and ARICOP brings to you the ultimate solution for your fertilizer needs. Introducing the ACAP Grade A, KCAP Equiafuajinkwa, and the ARICOP with cocoa blend, palm blend and mulch. These are made from locally sourced municipal solid waste, and these are the perfect choice for sustainable farming. Join the organic revolution today. Boost your crop yield, improve soil health, and support sustainable farming practices. Choose ACAP, KCAP, and ARICOP organic compost for a greener and bountiful harvest. For your purchase and more information, call the numbers on your screen. Our products are endorsed by COCOBOD, Planting for Food and Jobs, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture.
Right, so you welcome back from the break. We move on to some other topics. We are still live on Business Edge on Good Afternoon Ghana. Let me welcome Dr. Rashid Tanko, who is joining me online to be talking about the Minister of Communications presser yesterday. So yesterday, he spoke to members of the press and, of course, all the state-owned enterprises under the ministry. And one of the key areas that he spoke about, we tell you all the time that our foremost concern is about employment of young people here in Ghana. But one key thing that the minister spoke about, Honorable Sam Natijo spoke about, is the 1 million coders. So if you remember, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Kesel Atoforsen, in Parliament, 11th of March this year, had mentioned that government wants to train 1 million people in coding and had allotted a budget to it. So in the appropriation, there is actually money for it. And we have Dr. Rashid Tanko, who is the Chief Executive Officer of GIFEC, joining us live on Metro TV. Doc, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
Good afternoon, my brother.
I hope you're doing very well.
Good afternoon to your cherished viewers.
Right. This must come as some exciting news to the entire country.
This is good news for the youth of Ghana. I mean, it couldn't have been a better time than now. Very exciting news for those who are interested in digital skills, who want to advance their knowledge in digital skills. I mean, this is an exciting news for them, for the youth. And we have to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for bringing this to the doorstep of the Ghanaian youth. As we speak now, our website, over 30,000 youth have already applied. I mean, that tells you that they were actually waiting for such an exciting opportunity for them.
I was at the event yesterday, and just when you finished the press conference, the website had gone down. Is it back up? And we could anticipate the numbers and the pressure that would come on. People were watching online. Even the online portal had gone down. I'm sure maybe the numbers. Is it back up now?
Oh, it's active. It's completely active as we speak now. It's very, very active. That's why we're able to give you the numbers. I just came from a meeting, and then we assessed it, and we realized that over 30,000 Ghanaian youth, as we speak now, are still applying. I mean, we have to start with some 200 pilots, of which after that end, then we now move into a full-fledged, 100,000 of them we are targeting for this year. And then we have identified areas that we are going to do. For now, we are using the 4 centers for the launch on Wednesday. That will be 16th April, Wednesday. His Excellency himself will come and launch it at Kofi Annan ICT Center, of which to be hooked up at Kumasi as well as Sunyani and Bolgatanga. These are the centers that the launch is going to cover.
Okay.
And then after that, and then we roll it to the other districts and the regions.
I mean, you are going to be in charge. Apart from the launch, what exact format is the training going to take? I saw the Honorable Jifa there yesterday, maybe the digital centers and so on and so forth. Can you run us through what exact format? After application, how is it going to take?
Well, this is how we are going to do it. The GIFEC is going to be the forerunner in the sense that we have the CICs, we call it Community Information Centers, across the country. We are refurbishing them and to make sure that they are up to speed, up to standard. We are bringing in state-of-the-art computers, equipment to refurbish those CICs. And it's going to be district-based across the districts where the CICs are. So and then we are collaborating with our sister organization like Ghana Digital Center, GIFAG, and this group, Kofi Annan Center, and other players in the industry to deploy experts into the areas that we are. Cyber Security Authority is also involved. NCA, all these major bodies, NITA, they are all part and parcel of the process. We want to have a top-notch training for them. So delivery is going to be at their doorsteps. Those who apply, don't forget, you see, there are several courses that we are going to run. So when we talk of coding, people thought it's only coding we are going to. The coding is going to be a core course. Like when you go to school and then you have a core subjects of which everybody is going through that. Mathematics is one of them. You have English, of course. So coding in this program that we are going to run, we have one of the coding courses that is going to be the core course for every participant in this program who is coming to join for this training to go through, after which you will now go to your areas that you have chosen. So you will see that if you look at the website, we have rather put in the areas that they are supposed to go in for: cybersecurity, data analytics, and all those kind of things. Okay, these are areas you'll be measuring and all that. But the coding, some people were asking that, where's the coding? You say you are doing coding and we haven't seen coding. Yes, coding is going to be a primary course for everybody who's coming on board. Then we have the major coding courses, of which if people want to go in for that, they will go in. It's exciting news for people who want to develop their knowledge in tech industries. I mean, it is very, very exciting. And let me put it on record. Nobody is paying anything for this. So nobody should be scammed. As soon as somebody said that they bring money before we pay and all that. So nobody's going to do that.
Kindly hold on. From application online that you have launched, from the application through shortlisting to getting involved in the training, you are telling me there is not even a person to be paid by the applicants. Is that the case?
Of course, completely. Apart from you using your data to go through online and do those kind of things, I mean, we are not charging anybody for this training. And of course, you are going to have certification, international certification. That's one thing, one exciting advantage on this thing that they are coming to join. Okay. We are in contact touch with international recognized organization on coding systems and all that, so that they issue international recognized certificate for participants, so that you will be marketable globally.
So you've contacted them already. I mean, I'm excited about this. Yeah, kindly indulge me, and I'm happy that you have time for me this afternoon. I'll take a bit of your time. You are saying that, first of all, there is not going to be any fees paid to get trained. Secondly, there is certification, of course, from Ghana here. You would give them the certificates that they require. And you are saying that you have contacted international organizations as well, where you would get certification from, or they are in support of your certification, so that when they go outside the country, Ghana, they will be able to get jobs. Are you able to explain it to me, how exactly it is, and which organizations you have contacted?
That's why I'm saying that we're in close talk with internationally recognized bodies that issue certificates on these coding systems and all that, digital skills, because we want our those who have enrolled on the course to be recognized globally, not only in this country, so that they can send their certificate out there and be employed. That was our intention. And so we are trying to find a mitigating point where we don't do like what we've been doing previously. You just train people and they don't know what they're gonna do. After training, what next?
That's the point I'm coming to. That's the point I'm coming to, and I'm excited about that.
So there's a terminal point. That is what we are trying to do. You know, there are a lot of tech companies in the country that need this high-level trained digital skills personnel to employ. Now we have created the environment for that, and so a lot of them will be put into government agencies. After the training, a lot of them will be deployed into government agencies, because we want to go full swing digital economy pretty soon. And we need high-class people like that to help in the digital economy that we are running ourselves into. And so that is why we want that aspect. And secondly, some of the trainees, after they are completed, they will want to go out within Ghana, the jurisdiction of Ghana, and be employed in the West African sub-region or the Western world or the East. And they will need people with such high skills. So in order for them to be recognized, we need international recognition of what we are doing. So we are in talk with ITU, International Telecommunication Union.
Right. Okay.
And other providers of these digital activities, so that we have that collaboration of which we can get international certified certificate for our trainees who are coming in. So the minister is in talks with that.
Super. I mean, I know Honorable Sam George, and I know that lots of activities must have gone on already, and I know you as well. I know that lots of thoughts and planning must have gone on before the launch of this 1 million coders, and so I'm excited about it. But is it too early to ask that this year you will train 100,000 people? That's what you have stated, right?
Very well.
Out of the 1 million.
We are targeting for this year.
Out of the 1 million.
Yes, and then the 900,000 will be spread across the 3-year period. So we're targeting the 1 million for the 4-year period that we are in. Okay, so what we are doing is that we are not training the 1 million within a year. Okay? Yes, we start with 100,000. The following year, then we roll another 100,000. So we spread it across, so that at least the 900,000 will be spread across the 3-year period that we are going to be in our office. After which we will continue. A lot will continue to roll onto it. So that's what we are trying to do. So the 100,000 is for the start for this year.
If I'm getting my mathematics right, it means that next year you have to train a minimum of 300,000 because you have 900,000.
Of course.
And then,
of course.
Okay. So it's going to be expanded. The program is going to be expanded next year.
Yes. You know, I told you that it's going to be district regional base. Okay. So we have the CICs. The GFEC has CICs, the Community Information Centers. Currently, we have about 208 of them. And then we are trying to refurbish them. They were not properly used. They have been left to rot. And then we are trying to make sure that we refurbish them and bring them up straight and make them functional and operational. Okay, so we are hoping that by the close of the 4th quarter, we should have zoomed into the CICs, which are not functional, and put them upstream. So by next year, we will be able to contain about 300,000 youth across the country, because that would have been dotted across the district. And then we'll be able to take care of the numbers.
That's excellent. Now let's come to this year's zone, the 100,000 people. I don't know what your considerations are yet, but you say that some of them will go out, some of them will join public sector institutions, the private sector will open up for some of them. But you and I are also aware that all of these setups cannot absorb the entire 100,000 people. However, have you considered, as part of the training, maybe training them also in entrepreneurship or something of that sort, so that we know that the offtake for them, the market for them, the entire 100,000 people have been placed. Either they have gone outside, or they have worked with public sector institutions, or they are in the private sector, or they are on their own. And then we make way for the next 300,000 people that are coming next year.
Very well. In fact, we have incorporated what we are saying into the manuals. If you look at the courses that we've put out there, it is not only the coding that we are training them. I indicated that we are also training digital skills. And some of the skills that we are going to train them, they might not even need to join public sector jobs. They will go private themselves and set up, because we will assist them. For instance, if those who are trained in the mobile phone technology and setup and all that, such people will easily go and set up themselves, and they are good to go. Okay. So a lot of courses are embedded into that what we are doing, and that's why we are saying that yes, the banner headline might be coding, but there are other courses like this entrepreneurial skills that we are talking about, using the digital devices and all that, will help market some of the things that have been done locally or manually, and it will migrate into the digital world. I mean, these are the things we are trying to do, and so we are adding all this kind of thing into the course structure, so that it will be beneficial to the youth. So that it won't be like the old type that we're doing. We just deliver our training, and then after that, the people are left to their own feet. We will find means of which there will be a terminal point for them to continue whatever they are doing.
Is it the same 100 million cities that you have to train these 1 million people that you are using part of to do the renovations at the training centers across the regions or across the districts?
No, that is not it. That's not it. This one is just meant for the training and all that is set up.
So how are you getting money for the renovation? Is it from your already statutory funds or how?
GFEC has its own budget, and GFEC has its own budget line of trying to renovate our CICs. Okay, we have our own budget line for that, and so it's different from this one. And then so we are using our own budget line to make sure that we renovate our CICs and make sure that they are up. And don't forget, it's one of our major portfolio in whatever we are doing GFEC. Apart from the rural telephony, we have the CICs and the cyber labs, and then the training aspect. So already we have our own program of activities, and this one just fit in well for it. I mean, it came in at the right time. I mean, that's why I say it's exciting news for the good people of Ghana, especially the youth. GFEC as the forefront to provide the infrastructure, the setup for the training. I mean, we already have that, so it's different from that one.
Doc, still have some small time for me. I'll come to you on your vision. Apart from the 1 million coders, what else you want to do with GFEC? You've been talking about that, some of the pillars. I would want you to rehash some of them for all viewers to hear, and some of the things that have been happening since you took office. But my last question on the 1 million coders is what somebody put up on social media, that this is going to be job for the boys. And so because of your previous position in the party, you are going to ensure that during the shortlisting, this will go to party foot soldiers. Is that the case, or it will be for all Ghanaians?
Is the Ghanaians and our mentality? I mean, if you look at the website, we have not asked anybody to provide his party number or his party ID number. Those applying there, they just apply with their credentials. Nobody is asking for their party inclination. I mean, we are providing this opportunity for Ghanaians. We are not providing the opportunity for NDC people. I mean, it's for Ghanaians that we are providing it. So away from this, if you are qualified, go and apply, and then you'll be shortlisted. Interesting enough, look, we have allowed the Kofi Annan ICT Center to handle that one of it, and they are dealing with the shortlisting and all that.
Oh wow!
Okay, yes, it's clear. That's why I'm saying sometimes people don't know what we are doing. We mean business. Okay, we are not doing politics here. We have politics ended after December 7th. We've dealt with the NPP and dealt with them heavy blow after the election. So now it's time to govern. And we want Ghanaians to enjoy the fruit of labor, so it makes our work easier for 2028. It will be easier for us. Instead of them with their 38, we can bring them down to 30%. Because Ghanaians would be happy with what we are doing. Yes, that's what we are trying to do. Okay, so they should feel free. Go on the website, apply. Leave that kind of a prejudiced mind that somebody is going to shortlist NDC people and leave. That's prejudiced mind. You should leave that aside and let's behave like Ghanaians. Go there, apply. If you are qualified, the numbers are many. There are many. I mean, the people are there. We want to reduce the unemployment rate in the country. It's becoming too much. And so we want to find a means of making our people employable. Okay, that is why we are bringing this one free of charge. And now I insist, please don't let somebody scam you. Like asking that bring some money, I want to help you, and they say, no, please. Revert, the GFEC is here, Kofi Annan Center is there, all the CEOs in the ministries. You can refer to any of us, and then you get understanding of it. I mean, so nobody should be allow himself to be scammed, because the tendency of people here, and they're using this one on our blind side to start collecting monies from people and telling them all kind of crap. I mean, we'll be out there. So we need to be careful on that.
That's an important answer for me. I mean, for the fact that everybody will get a fair opportunity. But we're talking about fair opportunity. You know that you and I here in Accra have access to internet. Even when I come to the office and I don't have data on my phone, I am able to access internet maybe by connecting to the office Wi-Fi. When you go to Fademampontin somewhere or Tumu area somewhere in the northern part of Ghana, it will be difficult for somebody to access the internet. And we are applying online. we're talking about equity in access for the application. How are they able to also get on? Is there any special dispensation for them?
Well, that's where you are now coming closely to my vision for GFEC and what we intend doing.
I mean, you can go ahead with that too.
One of our biggest portfolio at GFEC is the rural telephony. I mean, that will resolve the question you just asked. Rural telephony. We are trying to make sure that we extend this access to basic telephony to most of our underserved and unserved communities across the country. Most of the areas don't have network. You go there, you are completely cut off. And so that is what we are trying to do as of now. We came and met a situation where a contract was signed for about 2016. That is, we're expecting that by now that contract should have been delivered. 2016 communities. But as we speak now, only 1,000 has been delivered. And so that means a lot of communities are still cut off. They don't have this network. So we are coming with a technology that will make sure that a lot of our rural folks, where you are just talking about, will be hooked up to the internet high speed and then voice, so that they can make calls and then have this internet services in their communities. So that is what we are working. Thankfully, government is partnering us. You know, GFEC is not subvented by government, but because government, this current administration, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, don't forget, he's a former communication minister. He knows the importance of communication and all that. So he has made the finance minister to allocate 100 million Ghana cedis to continue the rural telephony aspect. I mean, this is a plus. People don't know this. To make sure that we roll out more sites, rural telephony, for our people to continue to enjoy that. So apart from this coding thing we are doing, that project is also coming upstream. We are going to go in full swing and make sure that areas that they are having challenges with network, the unserved and underserved communities, will try and help them. And this will mitigate this problem that you have just mentioned. So that our rural folks, they can also have access. Then our CIC, because our CICs will be very active at the close of the fourth quarter, we will make sure that because in all our CICs, we provide internet service there. Internet activities are provided because we have our satellite dishes and all those kind of things, and they are well connected and active. So those within that community can easily move to the CICs to do whatever digital activity they want to do, and to help them connect themselves to whatever activities that we are doing in Accra here, so that whatever we are doing in Accra here, our brethren in the rural areas will also enjoy the same fruits.
You have mentioned for now 3 major things that you as a chief executive officer you're pursuing. Of course, one is a major one from government, to a main government agenda. The other one is your innovative idea. Maybe the 2 other ones that you mentioned. So first of all is the CODES program, which is beginning. Second is the rural telephony. Third is the CIC. The first one, which is the CODES, is a government's agenda, of course, resting on your shoulders. And I'm happy about the explanations you've given on how you intend to implement that. Of course, at the end of the year, we'll come back to you, and throughout the year, we'll be following you and checking up on you, and we'll be with you how the whole thing is going, the progress of the project. Now, rural telephony, you have mentioned. CIC, you have mentioned. Maybe subsequently we'll come back to you.
We have cyber labs.
Yes,
yes,
so
we have
that's why let me give you the opportunity to tell me about the other ones that you have. Which other ones do you have?
Yeah, the cyber labs. The cyber labs are another important area that we are into, and that one there is this the secondary schools and GHS, where we go and put up computer labs for them to aid teaching and learning in the schools. We provide computers, laptops, printers, scanners, and then a lot of projectors to the schools, so that and it will help in teaching and learning, because we want the students and the teachers as well to have effective training of our children in the schools. And so GFEC is, as part of our mandate, is to make sure that we facilitate that process in those schools. So we are going to enhance it more. So this time we are, instead of just sending the laptops or computers there, we are now trying to bring in a particular laptop or desktop computers that are embedded with software that will aid the teaching and learning process quicker.
Right.
Than the previous one, you just come there and then they'll be teaching you type here, type there. No. We want them to learn the digital skills faster so that in the schools. So this is what we are trying to do, the cyber labs. So we are going to roll them out more, especially the rural schools. This one is for the underserved schools and unserved communities.
Yes.
It's not for our urban. So the tendency of me saying this, and urban schools will start applying for it. No. Let's allow our rural folk to enjoy this. Yes. So
but tell me, what's your level of collaboration with other relevant institutions? Most of the times we accuse governments and state institutions of acting unilaterally or independently of their colleagues. When you come, I had an interview with the Minister for Youth Development quite recently, and we're talking about how the Youth Employment Agency, how the NEIP, how the National Youth Authority, the NSS, and so on and so forth operate independently but are in the same ecospace. There needs to be that effective collaboration. In your instance, you're talking about rural development and you're talking about the schools. Obviously, you must have that seeming collaboration with, or seamless collaboration with, the Ministry of Education or the Ghana Education Service. You should necessarily have also with maybe the Ministry of Local Government at the district, municipal, and metropolitan levels. You are the CEO, and so you make the decisions. What's your plan?
Yeah, it's true. What you are saying is very true. We need a close collaboration with our other partners in this business that we are in. And chiefly among them is the Ministry of Education when it comes to these our cyber labs and our training programs. So we are in talks with the ministry. I mean, we have a fine gentleman who is the Minister of Education. It's a brother, Honorable Haruna Idrisu. He has been a Minister of Communication before, who presided over GFEC when it's in formation stage. So clearly he understood the symbiotic relationship between GFEC and that of the Minister of Education. So it makes our work easier because he's a former communication minister. So he understood this one perfectly. So we are in talks and trying to see which areas that we can collaborate further and iron out any gray area that we might have between our ministry and his ministry. It's the same thing as the local government ministry. Honorable Ibrahim is a very fine gentleman. I met him recently. We had some discussion about how we want them to help us with our CIC, because our CICs are in the districts. And then so the district chief executives, the MMDAs, we want them to let me describe as marry them. Because why they are left to rot is that it appeared they didn't understand the concept very well. And then so they were not taking advantage of those CICs and left them to be used by other agencies. Some of our CICs are being used by fire service, some are used by police, some are used as depot and all those kind of things. But that was not a concept. They initially didn't understand it. Now we want them to get this understanding that anything about digital activities can be done at the CICs. And that is why it's there to help them. And so if they have that kind of understanding, the MMDAs will take full charge of our CICs. And then another one is we are activating our regional offices. They used to call them zonal offices. And then so a lot of people didn't know that we have regional secretariat. And so first thing that I have to congratulate my minister, Honorable Sam George, is to bring them upstream, bring it up publicly so that people get to know that we have a secretariat. And we beef up the staff strength of that secretariat so that people will get to know that this of a regional secretariat of GFEC and whatever we are doing. So that collaboration will be there. They will also be part of the RCC because the Regional Coordinating Council, if we have our regional manager there, then whatever goes on at the RCC, he's also going to be part and parcel of it. And that kind of thing will bring that close collaboration between us and then the RCC. I mean, so this collaboration is there, and then we are doing. So if you come currently to GFEC, the headquarters, you will see some semblance of resetting, trying to reorganize the organization and bring it publicly. That is why you can see that GFEC is now in the media platform. We have created a new directorate of corporate affairs and appointed a very seasoned communicator to head that corporate affairs. So that will bring out GFEC to the public domain and then collaborate and connect with our sister agencies. For the ministry, the collaboration is fantastic with our other sister agency, NCA, cyber security, NITA, digital center, and all that. We are collaborating very well. And Kofi Annan Center. We are like brothers and sisters, and then we're working very well together.
Okay.
And I hope that other ministries will also copy that kind of collaboration network that we are doing, and that will be the benefit of the good people of Ghana.
Okay, so let me give you, in fact, my time is actually up. Maybe we should make time. Either you come in here or we come to your office, and then we have a further discussion. But let me give you the opportunity to answer to this on Metro TV. You were accused some time back by the former Chief Executive Officer of the NEIP that you have sacked some people under the instruction of the Honorable Minister. They are public servants and they were recruited way before election, but the speculation is that because it was an election year, you had cause to sack them.
Well, I think the people didn't understand the work ethics of public service and the processes therein. Now, in public service, when you are appointed, you come in as an officer on probation for 6 months. Okay, within the period of your probation, the employer can still terminate your appointment. After employing you, within the period, you have not even ended the probation period, they can terminate you within the period. And after the probation, you will either be confirmed or they'll say, we will not confirm your appointment again, right? This one is a standard public service procedure. Okay, because after your probation, we'll assess you to see whether you are qualified enough to do the job. That's why we give you probation. And if I'm not satisfied with your performance within your probation period, I will not continue your appointment. I'll terminate it. Okay?
Yes.
It's within the right of distance. Now, some of them, they were within a probational period when the appointment were terminated. You remember the Chief of Staff letter came and said, any appointment after December 7th should not be allowed. It should be terminated. Okay, some of them, yes, they were appointed before December 7th, but they fell within the probation period. And so we were not satisfied with their performance and other things. So definitely, it was within the power of the employer to terminate the appointment. And so it was within. Now, as to somebody appointed long since before even the 2024, it should have been asked. The question is asked that, was the person confirmed after he has been appointed for all these years? You cannot just be appointed into an office and you are not confirmed. Something might be wrong.
Okay.
Then so the officer was quickly confirmed around 17th December 2024. What is your guess?
Okay, Doc. So this is what I will do. I mean, you are bringing out revelations, and we'll come to you maybe to look at that issue specifically. Unfortunately, my time is up, but thank you very much for the time that you have given us. On that specific issues, we'll come back to look at the details of it, because for us, it is employment, and it's about people getting jobs and having their daily bread. But thank you very much for your time. Dr. Rashid Tanko is, let me add the computer. Dr. Rashid Tanko Computer is the Chief Executive Officer, GIFEC, and we are happy to have had him here this afternoon on Good Afternoon Ghana Business Edge. Thank you very much for doing the watching. My name is Kwesi Afriye.
Next season on the Gen Z show.
I want to have you saying, tell me no. Not to wait.
My name is Lucky.